We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. Did you watch the AFC Championship game? I hope you did, because we're about to talk about it. But what an unbelievable change of scenery in that game. If you don't know, you should know, the Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7. But the real story was the way it happened in the first and second quarter, and then a change came in the third quarter where the blizzard moved in. So Patriots get it done. They beat the Broncos and the backup quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, 10-7. And I know that's an ugly score, and it was an ugly game. So give me your initial thoughts on Broncos losing to the Patriots 10-7.
I think of all the ways I thought this game might have gone, just, knowing what happened to Bo Nix and all the, kind of storylines going into the thing. I don't I don't know that this is one of the ones that I thought, because if you look at it statistically, and this is, I shudder to say this, but Drake May certainly didn't outplay Stidham. Now, I don't know that Stidham was better than May, but it wasn't like this guy that's going to finish probably second in MVP voting versus this dude that hasn't thrown a pass all season. And it's like, oh, this isn't going to be close. Like, no, like it was not that at all. So my initial reaction is, for everyone out there that was just, and I know Luke was torn about sticking with the Broncos versus going to the Patriots. In hindsight, that doesn't look like a silly notion, because this was a very, very close game. Easily should have at least gone to overtime, and there was a path for the Broncos to win that game.
Well, I'll say this. Stidham on the opening drive took him down and scored. I think it was the opening drive, first or second drive.
It was second drive.
I think it was the second drive.
Yeah,
second drive, they go down and score, made it look easy. And you're thinking, okay, here we go. Here it is. And then and then they had another drive where the boy genius, Sean Payton, decided not to kick a field goal while it was great weather out. And he went for it. I think it was 4th and 1.
That's right.
4th and 1,
Yep.
and they decided to roll Stidham out.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my god.
So if you say maybe it's okay going for it, if analytics say go for it, but that play call with your backup quarterback, I would have taken the points. I said it in a text. Hey, take the points here. Go up 2 scores. Your defense is awesome. You may not get any more points, and they didn't. So Sean Payton making that questionable decision in the second quarter. You guys know how I feel about Sean Payton. I feel like he's been overrated. I mean, for a guy who's had the talent he's had to win 1 Super Bowl and to all this time still call plays on offense, right? Maybe it's time for him to get an offensive coordinator that can actually call plays, and he can do head coaching duties. But I like Sean Payton. I liked him when he was here with the Cowboys. But I think it's time for him to make a change here. Now, look, if you have Bo Nix, you win that game, no question, I think. So it's not totally, Sean Payton's fault. Now, there are some questions whether Bo Nix actually got injured during the game or celebrating in the locker room. That's still out there. And I'm sure one day we'll know. But I don't think you can go for it in that situation with your backup quarterback. Kick the field goal, take the points. I don't know if they knew the weather was going to turn as bad as it did, so I can cut them some slack there. I mean, as much as the weather reports you can get, but you got to take the field goal because you have your backup quarterback and you have a chance to go up 10-0.
Yeah, what's worse about that, though, to me, and he said it in the press conference, so credit to him for being transparent, but when they line up for that 4th and 1, it was basically a check with me, right? So you put Stidham into a position where it's like, hey, let's get to the line, let's see what the defense looks like, and let's make the adjustment, the alert at the line. So he sees 6 down linemen, and he's like, hey, we got to check to the sprint draw out. And in hindsight, Peyton says, oh, we should have stayed with the run. Yeah, don't put the guy that hasn't played all season into a position to have to, like, you needed Jarrett Stidham not to lose you the game. Like, that's what you needed. And not that did that, but you're putting him in a position to force you to win the game. And of course, in hindsight, take the 3. But even at the time, like you said, you mentioned it, I completely agree. This is obviously a defensive game. Take the points where you can get them.
Yeah, and Luke, you struggled. You wanted to stay with the Broncos in this game. I don't remember what you actually ended up doing. Actually, I'm
Yeah,
slept since then.
I picked the Patriots. I ended up picking the Patriots, but the whole like week leading up to the game, I was like my gut was continuously like, man, I just feel like the Broncos are gonna pull out this crazy win, which they had multiple chances to do, and I honestly think if it wasn't for the weather, I think the Broncos probably would have pulled it out. Like I think if the weather didn't get so bad,
See, I
it
don't
was a
know.
different game.
Yeah, it definitely was a different game, and the weather dramatically changed the game from a play calling standpoint, from a field goal standpoint, with the Broncos missing one and having one blocked or tipped. But I mean, there's a couple plays Stidham like that backwards pass that they called fumble that set up the Patriots for their only touchdown.
Yep.
I mean, you just can't do that, Stidham. I mean, that was just such a I don't know that looked like it was his first start in years, which it was, right? So he made some of those mistakes. What do you think about the Patriots defense and Vrabel? There's been a lot of talk. I love Mike Vrabel, and I love him as a coach, and I'm sure the Titans are regretting firing him. But what do you think about this defense? Do you think they're as good as advertised, or is it a outcome of the schedule that they played? They played a last place schedule. And if you look at all the quarterbacks they had to face on defense, is it they're good? Is it who they played? Combination of both for the Patriots?
I would lean more to, and I'm looking at the quarterbacks that they played, so we can get into it in a second, but I would lean a little bit more toward they are that good. I think the quarterbacks is not exactly a who's who of top flight quarterbacks,
No.
but the good quarterbacks they have played, it looks like they've done relatively well. They have played a handful of pretty good quarterbacks. But more than that, here's what I'll say. I think the one thing about Vrabel with the Titans at their peak, of certainly Vrabel as a player, and now in this stint with the Patriots, the defenses generally play pretty well, right? Or to great, good to great. Vrabel very rarely has a team that, even the bad Titans teams defensively, they were still pretty stout. So I think for me, if we go on historicals, Vrabel has proven that he can coach defense, he can build up defenses. Having said that, it'll be a really interesting test because what they got coming in is probably going to be the best offense that they've played in a long time, and I don't know if they can do that to that offense. So I would lean a little more toward the offense, but I want to leave myself just a little bit of room there because, like you said, some of these quarterbacks, man, not not exactly world beaters.
Well, I've been on the Patriots bandwagon for a long time. I told you early on, if you go back to listen to old episodes of the Dead Jeff Show, I was on the Patriots early. And I had them as my best team in the AFC pretty early on. And but as time went on, they did catch a lot of breaks about quarterbacks that they played. Even in this situation with playing the Broncos in Denver without Bo Nix, they caught a huge break. I think if Denver has Bo Nix, they win that game. But the weather, like Luke said just a minute ago, it changed the game dramatically from a play calling standpoint, from a decision making standpoint, and I'm sure with that knowledge, Sean Payton should say at the press conference, "Yeah, I should have took the points." Regardless of whether you should have took the points. And I think there's a huge trend right now where everybody's going for it on fourth down and leaving all these points on the field. And I think if you have a great defense, you should do that. But in this situation with your backup quarterback in, it's not the time to do that. And I heard on Get Up, I think it was Rex Ryan's talking about that coaching is an art, not a science all the time. And you have to go by what you see in the moment, because analytics says if I play the game this many times, this is the result and this is what I should do. But it doesn't account for blizzards and backup quarterbacks and things like that. And so I agree with 100% with Rex Ryan that says you take the points when you have a backup quarterback. You got to have a feel for that situation and don't just go off an analytics sheet that says this is what you should do.
Yeah, it's 100% right. And just to that point, also with the something else to the Patriots defense, where like when you have a defense that obviously gets better as the game goes on, as time goes on, they adapt very well defensively. In the first 10 games, they gave up over 225 yards 7 times. So 7 times in the first 10 games, they gave up over 225 to
The
opposing
Patriots.
quarterbacks, the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
In the last 7 games, they didn't give up over 200 yards once. Now, some of that is the quarterbacks, but it just is a testament to it's a new system, it's a new defense, they're trying to get used to it. This is a 4-win team a season ago that's in the Super Bowl. Like they needed some time to get used to it. So to your point, if Sean Payton is this offensive guru and this coaching brilliant mind, you've got to know the longer this game goes, the harder it's going to be for my team to score because this defense is going to adapt incredibly well. 100% agree with Rex. Agree to your point there. There has to be something beyond the sheet, something beyond the X's and O's. That's why we don't have computers coaching, because if we were just going to go analytics 100% of the time, you miss that critical human element, the intangible, the intuitiveness. That's what separates great coaches from good ones. And coaching matters more than any other sport, in my opinion, in the NFL.
That's a great point. I think, as good as AI is getting, some of that stuff it will not be able to learn as quickly as far as the emotions of the game, the feel of the game. Now, to be fair to Sean Payton, it's the blizzard doesn't arrive till like 5 minutes left in the third.
Right.
So there's plenty of chances in that game to get those points back. But Jarrett Stidham, man, he just didn't really have a chance in this game once that weather hit. You just knew without the running game, they just really didn't have a chance. With that being said, they lost by 3 points. And that's
Right.
because their defense was so good, the Broncos defense. And what was Drake May's stats? It was pedestrian. It was awful.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the whole fourth quarter, they just ran the ball three and punt. What was his stats?
10 of 21 for 86 yards. He was sacked 5 times, and he had a 58 passer rating.
Well, we have to factor in the weather for him too, because
Yeah.
we're factoring in the weather. Like, oh, Jared Stidham didn't play that well. Well, almost half the game, or at least a little over a quarter of the game, it was a blizzard basically, and they did have the lead. So I don't know when he was passing. Like, I know the numbers of the complete game, but I don't know, like, okay, from this quarter he was passing like before the weather was bad. They could have been running because they had the lead anyways. So that may not matter, but I don't know.
I think it's a good point. Look how many times they passed the ball in the fourth quarter. That'd be an interesting note.
Yeah.
But but while you're looking that up, to me, I think that it was an ugly game. The weather made it even uglier. And as a kid, when I'd play flag football or tackle football as a kid, and even into my 30s when we played flag football, we'd love for it to snow. We want to go play some snow football. But when the championship's on the line, it really makes the game kind of ugly. And I don't think the NFL is probably particularly fond of the product that was put on by the AFC Championship game this weekend. But it's that element that did not benefit either team, though. And that's the thing, is the outdoor elements. Usually a team may be strong with the run game and they'll benefit from a blizzard like that. But neither one of these teams benefited from it. So it wasn't like one team had the advantage over the other one. I think the real thing here was Stidham at quarterback just not playing well, and somebody on the offense, had to make a play and no one could. And the turnovers, you just can't overcome those in a game like this, which is why we said take the points earlier.
So May threw the ball 7 times in the second half, only once in the fourth quarter.
And that's my point. They just said, we're going to run the ball and punt. And the punt is our weapon in the fourth quarter because we don't think you guys can score. That's what they did.
They went full on water boy, UNLV. You got to be, we're going to punt every time, or we're going to knee the ball 3 times. How you like my new offense?
ULA, right? Not UNLV. What did you
I'm
say?
sorry. Yeah, ULA. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So with that being said, then Drake May's, I think there should be some criticism that goes his way. I know they played a really good defense, but if he threw most of the throws he had were before the fourth quarter when it was snowy, and he had those stats, then
Fair.
he didn't
worse.
play that. Yeah, it's worse on him. Then it makes it look worse for him.
Yeah, and I think Stidham threw it like 31 times.
31
but,
times, that's right. 17 of 31 for 133. He had a 68 passer rating. So, I mean, on paper, had a
But that's what they do,
considerably-
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
they're
they
a throwing
yeah.
team.
Well, yeah, but when your backup quarterback, you shouldn't throw it as much. And Peyton came out and talked about we won't lose much with Stidham in there. Well, they did, and to me, you could see it pretty plain. But let's look at that Patriots schedule. Because I said I thought the Patriots were the best team in the AFC for a while. It was back and forth with them and Buffalo and Denver. But as far as who we picked on the show, but if you pull up these Patriots schedule, name off the quarterbacks from
right.
week one till just what they faced.
So here you go: Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young, knocked out during that game. Then Andy Dalton, Josh Allen, Spencer Rattler. I'm forgetting the kid's first name from Tennessee, the rookie Ward.
Tyler.
Ward.
Cam Ward. Yeah,
Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel.
I thought you meant from New Orleans. I'm sorry.
No. Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Michael Penix, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, Jake Browning, Jackson Dart, Josh Allen, Tyrone Huntley, Brady Cook, Quinn Ewers. That's it.
This is why I was picking Denver every time. I was not sold on New England and their defense. To answer that question from earlier, their defense, I think we're going to see, and I know I might be jumping ahead, but the Super Bowl, I think is going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be close.
Save it, man.
So
you're giving away
I know. I'm just giving a little appetizer.
Well, that's the whole thing. You just said it's going to be a blowout. So anyway.
So here's
I'll tell you why later, though.
Okay. All right.
So
we'll
here's the other thing to the point that I made earlier. The quarterback that had by far the best game against the vaunted Patriots defense was in the first game of the season, Geno Smith, 24 of 34, 362. The second best game against the Patriots' vaunted defense was the second game of the season. Tua Tagovailoa went 26 of 32, an 80% completion rate for 315 and 2 touchdowns. They they don't give up another 300-yard pass for the rest of the way. The next best game is Baker Mayfield, who's 28 of 43 for 273 and 3 touchdowns. That was also the last time they gave up more than 200 in a game, and they never really looked back after that. Only gave up multiple touchdown passes one more time the rest of the season. So this is a defense that, although they benefited after Mayfield, here are the quarterbacks: Justin Fields, Jake Browning, Joe Flacco, Jackson Dart, Josh Allen, Tyrone Huntley, Brady Cook, and Quinn Ewers. So obviously, one quarterback, right?
They play Josh Allen.
Yeah, and so
and that's you have to factor that in, right? It's like, and if you talk, all those teams that you just mentioned aren't fantastic in the run game either.
No.
So it's not like they did, they were scared of one of those teams probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you always look at the schedule. It's a last place schedule and how much that matters or what. But here's what I say. I think Vrabel has shown how much coaching matters in the NFL, and how you coach talent up. And hopefully we're going to see that here in Dallas with our new defensive coordinator. We'll get to in a little bit. See, I won't leak it here, Luke. I'll wait. But
we don't know who it is.
I know, but we'll talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about why we think it's going to be better. But here's speaking of Cowboys. Here's the depressing thing about this. So congratulations to the Patriots. They go to the Super Bowl again. And it's their third version of a dynasty, maybe they're hoping, but I don't think so. I don't think this will be a dynasty, but we'll see. But look, the Broncos have been in the Super Bowl in 2014 and 2016 recently, right? The Patriots, we've been in the Super Bowl 2002, 2004, 2005, 2008, 2012, 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, and now 2026. And the Cowboys haven't sniffed it. And these two teams have been multiple times. And we'll see that trend continuing in the NFC.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry. You stole the words out of my mouth. I was going to say Seattle, too.
You're always jumping ahead, man. We got to
love
get
it.
You.
Hey, look at him. I'm locked in on it.
Slow down.
I'm locked in.
So, Cowboy fans, I mean, the fact that the Patriots have 3 different dynasties or 3 different teams go to the Super Bowl before we can get to an NFC Championship game is just really, really depressing. And it just kind of cements home if you look at this, and even the Broncos going in 14 and 16, and of course it was Peyton Manning, right, that did that. Just it's unbelievable that the Cowboys have been waiting so long to get back to the Super Bowl.